Hello everyone, my name is Haley Cure. Sorry for the late response. I've kind of lost my voice throughout the week, and today is the first day that it sounds the best to do this. So first question about my intersectionality is I am obviously a white woman. I'm come from a very middle to lower class family. I am a part of the LGBTQ community, and while I finished K through 12 on my primary school, I also got the privilege of going to university, obviously at Indiana State University. One thing I think about my intersectionality is that all those identities is what makes me who I am. Being a woman is one thing, but being a woman and being a white woman is also a part of my identity. They all make me who I am instead of just one. So I think I've experienced the world relatively easily based on all of my identities as one. There has been hardships considering just LGBTQ community and growing up in a conservative family. I think if I were to change anything, if I were to change one thing, my race would be the biggest thing. If I were a Black woman, I think I would face a lot more challenges in the world than I do as a white woman, and it would definitely alter my experiences with even just people, not even just the world, but being a Black woman, just simply because that's my race. Moving on, the next subject that I think I resonated with the most and also just kind of took the time to look into deeper was I think it was week 8 when we did the objectification of women, slut shaming, prude shaming. The prude shaming was one of the biggest things I think I learned about. Slut shaming is a very common thing. People have heard of it. It's not necessarily that it's talked about all the time, but I think prude shaming is very big. It goes to show that, women who love sex and have it with whoever they want can be criticized for that as slut shaming. But on the other hand, you have women who are a little bit more conservative and shy towards any sort of sexual act, and they're oftentimes criticized for that. I know I was, as a young girl, my generation really understands it from late teens to about mid-20s. I think we can understand it the best, just how dating and sex has changed so much, especially in the 21st century. And no matter what we do as women, whether we love sex and want to have it a lot with people, multiple people, one person, whatever, or if we aren't, we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't, is kind of the concept I came to find when I did do further research into that. So one of the biggest things about a woman that we hear about and that we've talked about, one of the terms is sexual violence. And you can go onto any search engine. I use Google and use cases about statistics of violence towards women, not just specifically sexual violence. And in this article, they talked more about just violence in general, and sexual violence just wasn't directly referred to in the article. However, this was a big thing the United Nations is trying to do to change the outlook of men and boys towards women and fix that relationship, teach better language to little boys and as they're growing up so they don't objectify women so much in the future. And I saw a statistic that I thought was really interesting. It says that every 11 minutes, a woman is killed by a partner or a family member, often in their own home, which is where we should feel the safest. And a lot of the times, these acts of violence are sexual acts of violence against women. And a lot of times, statistics show that it's spouses or even close acquaintances of the women that know these men or women who are doing it to them. But majority is men committing these acts of violence, especially sexual violence against women. And lastly, what I would do, I want to be a teacher. So I want to be that person in the classrooms teaching that better language to young men and boys about how to not objectify women and better language to use. I also think getting more involved with activist groups, me standing up for women's rights is a big thing. It's the main thing I would want to focus on. And I think one person fighting against it won't lead to a lot of progress. But if I involve myself with activist groups who have the resources and the people to fight it, I think progress will be definitely more prominent. I think by educating myself constantly, staying recent with all the current events, hearing women's stories, collectively understanding the issues that are going on from page weight gap to sexual violence, like I mentioned before. I think it's just important to constantly be learning about it as it changes throughout time and to educate anyone who is willing to listen to me to fix it.